Hi, everyone. TGIF, Alexander, Brock, Low Richard, and everyone else. So, hello, Hugo. So, just want to show you guys something here. It's on the Dixie. All right, so I kind of put a horizontal line here. Hello, Laura. That kind of makes this look like a head and shoulders formation here. That would measure down to what I'm looking for in the dollar, down towards that 91 level. So after the NFP, let's see what happens around 92.45 if it gets up there. So see the formation, kind of a left shoulder, right shoulder, neckline. Anyway, coincidentally, it measures down towards this 91 area. I believe 91.18 is 61.8 back of this whole move. So we're, I think, 110 points away from where I'll start getting interested in buying the dollar, shorting the euro up, around 1960, 20, 30 in there, and maybe 140 cable.
Don't you poo-poo on my party today. Don't poo-poo there. Good morning, Dale.
How was that poo-pooing?
Just kidding. I'm just giving you a hard time, man.
All right.
Good morning.
So, good morning.
Well, actually, the thing is, I have a situation where I will be a dollar buyer today. There is a situation where I will do it. So I'll talk about that in here in a moment. But it's just, it's NFP stuff.
Yeah. So, scalping kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. I'll let you go. I'm gonna let you go, poo-poo partier.
Okay, I'll
finish up your thoughts.
I brought some air freshener. Okay.
Okay. All right. I'll catch you in a minute.
I don't know what to do with crude. Looks like it wants to break out. I guess you could buy it. And copper, tougher call. I just want to also show one of the stocks. NASDAQ was a little softer, but I still contend that Apple is peaking up here. Look at this. So it's made consecutive higher highs, and there might be a worm in Apple. And then yesterday, and Microsoft was a powerhouse last week, and it's struggling a little bit, but it does have a confirmed high. But the FANG that was unhappy yesterday, look at this on the daily. Facebook was not smiling. Okay, so there are a lot of things in the NASDAQ 100 and the triple Qs that are starting to look a little heavy. Some of the strength is, and look at Amazon. So Amazon bounced, right? But all it did was eat its way into the gap, especially if it doesn't fill the gap. That's pretty bearish. So this did not take the NASDAQ down, and finally got some type of rally after these bad earnings in Amazon. And this was a darling for a long time, and hasn't made a new high with NASDAQ for quite some time. So and the last thing before I find out what I poo-pooed over is this is kind of a coin toss. And I think you could use this range for the next major move in yields. Right now, isn't it a guess? You just have to have, if you have a bias, you trade it, but otherwise it's just a guess. And these are the boundaries. Under 120, I think you'll go retest the lows, and over 136, I think you're going to, be looking at 160, or at least. So that's my take on. And it doesn't mean anything once the number comes out, or at least, who knows, 20 minutes.
Ain't that the truth? It's all, you have to backpedal out of everything post NFP. You got to go, well,
Yeah. But, there are some things that you might be able to do with the bias. And, it's like Blake did a video. You're much better off, instead of trying to predict the reaction by being positioned, better to react
You know,
reaction.
this is one of those weeks that you know, when I look at the week ahead video that I did, and I'm like, hey, dollar's going to weaken into the number. Then once we get to the number, you know, the dollar's going to figure out what it's going to do. And if you traded that idea, which I didn't, by the way, I actually stood aside with the dollar this week, early on this week. But if you're like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and you short, like, let's say you went long the euro at, I'm just using a number like 118.25 because you bought it earlier this week. Well,
Right.
now you're in a position to really ride it out if you're pre-positioned for a weak number. So if you have a number that is weak, then you know you're gonna you can possibly, you know, make 100 pips on that trade. So having yourself positioned ahead of the number is fine. If you manage to, you know, be on the right side, and then you can just move your stops to break even and you know, hope for the best. I did that.
These moving averages are converging here on the euro right at this 1805 level. So back under these two moving averages, if you are long euro, you may want to consider, you know, that would be a decent place for a stop underneath it right there.
Is that your daily?
Yeah. So
Got
both
it.
the 50 and 200 are intersecting here.
Yeah. They I was just, well, your 200 is way up at the 120 level.
Oh yeah, so that's a 9 and the 50.
Yeah. Okay.
9,
So
9
yeah,
and 50.
I was going to say 200 day. One of the things you can't actually, you got to think about when you're looking at this chart, and just since you have it up, we are in the midst of a death cross. And usually when you get a death cross or a golden cross, the follow through initially is pretty limited. That's why I don't like to be the first one to announce, we got a death cross, or, we got a golden cross, because usually it takes some time to work out anyway. I like to note it saying, hey, just keep this in mind. This is probably going to work itself out over the course of the next couple of months. And in this case, we had a death cross that actually took place back in July, you know, and end of July. So we're already seeing a really, you know, strong bounce here at the end of August, beginning of September. But I would assume that it has run its course pretty soon. So I think you have to continue to play actually on the short side of the euro. But the question is where, and that's what you had just mentioned, you know, just a few moments ago, like in the dollar, where you're like, well, I'm looking at buy the dollar at 91.50 or whatever you said, which is a lot lower than it is right now. And maybe the euro makes it up to 120. I don't discount that because of the market environment we're in. I mean, when you take the stock market that's going straight up and we're sitting at all-time highs, then you can't assume that the dollar is going to rally at this point. You know, the dollar is going to stay probably weak until equities start to show some signs of fatigue up here. So anyway, happy non-farm payroll day, Dale.
Yeah, you too, Blake.
And happy Friday of all things.
And 3-day weekend.
Yeah, and I was just going to say it's a 3-day weekend. For us in the US, it's a 3-day weekend. So we will not be broadcasting on Monday. So I just want to make sure everybody that's listening in right now understands that we do have a long weekend here in the US. We will not be broadcasting on Monday. Don't worry, all of our European folks in the chat rooms, and this is so you guys can see the Forex Analytics chat room. This is just to give you an example. This is what's happened in the last hour since I popped in the chat room. It'd be right around here. So actually right there. So you can see this is like all the chatting that's gone on since the last hour. There's going to be people in the chat rooms all on Monday. It just might be a little slow for you guys if you're in Europe. And you know, I'll pop into the chat rooms like after I wake up and stuff. But we're not going to be broadcasting. So just let you guys know, you know, morning edge, you know, European crossover, you know, the obviously the space webinar. So just want to make mention of that. And yeah, so happy long weekend, Dale. And I wanted to bring in Ryan. Ryan, are you here today?
Yeah, hello.
Hey,
Look at
Ryan.
that
Oh, wait,
volume.
hold on. You know, we got people in the chat room that are saying Jumbotron. Oh, yeah, you guys are on Jumbotron. So hey, if you're listening in right now and you want to say Jumbotron, you guys are on the Jumbotron. So
What's that? Is that a new Tesla vehicle?
you know when you're at a sporting event and
Yeah,
you know
that's
Okay.
what I was thinking.
they put you out on the big TV because you guys are all kissing each other and
Drunk.
stuff, and
Yeah.
beer and stuff. Yeah, you know, so so we call it the Jumbotron. So it's kind of funny because a lot of the guys and gals that, you know, obviously in the chat room are listening in. So you know, we put them up there. But Ryan, welcome. And I know Stelios and Steve are going to pop in too here in a moment. But I just want to say you had a great write up for the Forex analytics folks today in the chat room. I want to let you, you know, kind of talk about your feelings and ideas going into non-farm payroll and what you're seeing and what you're thinking here. And then I'm gonna share with you guys kind of my setup and what I'm looking at as far as today goes, because I am quite possibly looking to buy dollars today. And I'm already long. Let me take a step back. I actually have a little bit of dollar long exposure. It's not a lot, but I'm actually willing to step in front of the dollar today under certain circumstances a little bit more aggressively. So I'll talk about that here in a moment. But Ryan, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think this is going to be an important one as the jobs reports are going to be for the next few months. I think that potentially the market's a little bit nervous about this one based on the ISM and the other PMIs that have come through, hence why we've seen this drifting low in the dollar a week. So, you know, get a big number and we could see a very big snapback in the buck, more so than if it's a miss, perhaps, because if the market's leaning towards a negative number, you know, if we do get a positive one, then we, you know, things go into reverse. We could see 10 years at 135, euro dollar going down towards 117. So there's big risk, as there always is with these types of events. Positioning wise, I'm small long euro dollar actually from a technical trade I took on Wednesday, I think it was. We broke into the daily cloud and found support on the bottom of that, so I took a small long just to dip my toe in the water following the holiday. I've sliced that up to 118.80 so far, stops in at 60. I'm sticking in a spike TP of 119.50 in case of a bad number. We'll see what happens, but otherwise my main view is to trade the reaction. It's always to trade the reaction to the NFP. Otherwise it's pretty much gambling if you take a position 5 minutes before because you think it's going to be XYZ.
Yeah, and I think unless you're pre-positioned for the data already, like you are, and by the way, that's a you know, we were just talking about that a little bit earlier with Dale. You know, you got in the trade earlier this week. Now you're set up to ride it out on a weak number. So kudos to you. But trying to just take a trade, you know, 5 minutes before the number, that's just rolling the dice, right? I mean,
yeah. But I mean, as you saw the post I put in the room, you know, about 10 minutes ago, just regarding levels and stuff, the best thing to do around something like the NFP or big data is plot your levels up and down the price ladder. And these are levels where, you know, if the price does move, they're going to ask a question. And you don't put every single level, you pick the strongest levels, you know, 10, 20, 30, 50 pips, 80 pips away, plot them on a piece of paper, however you want to do it on your chart, and just keep an eye on those levels. And then what you see is you get the data, you assess the data, then you match it off against those levels. And if the data's not too bad, then a level, you know, maybe 50, 80 pips away is potentially going to be the level where the price stalls. And what you want to look for is if it stalls there, if it holds there, you know, 10, 20 minutes after the number, if that becomes a level, that becomes the resistance or support, and we test it a second time and hold it, then you've got your level. And that's when you look to trade and look for those stretch points and see if you can get a fade trade.
All right. Well, that's in my opinion, those are some great, you know, suggestions and hints for for all the traders out there. So thank you, Ryan. One of the things that I want to mention, guys, especially those of you that are listening in, if you want to be part of the Forex analytics community, make sure you jump into that non-farm payroll guesses that I tweeted out earlier, but Ryan originally tweeted out. This is our chat room. Here's where we're taking trades in our trades room, news and research here. Here's the Forex Flow. This is their legacy chat room because we've just merged Forex Flow and Forex analytics. So you guys, they have their own room there as we're just kind of in the middle of a merger. So yeah, if you guys want to try to be part of our community, you can win a free month of premium subscription service. All you got to do is enter a number. Like my number is 678,000. So if you try to put in 678,000, you're not going to win because I put mine in first. So there. But that's my non-farm payroll guest today, and usually I'm pretty wrong. And let's talk a little bit about non-farm payroll.
I hope you win a month, buddy.
I hope I win a month too. I will gladly gift it to you, Dale. So you
insider trading. If
right. But let me give you my just real quick thoughts, and then I want to bring in Stelios and Steve to get their thoughts here. Really quick, I think people are expecting a weaker number. The numbers have come off the last couple of weeks from, I think, around the 900,000 mark down to the 750 mark. So you've already seen a shift in expectations weaken recently. And so the reason why I bring that up is because somebody's typewriter is going
Who has
off.
the typewriter? Yeah.
Who's got the typewriter? Who's got a
Sorry,
typewriter?
that was me. I'm
okay.
muted my
Hey, is that an old school typewriter? Anyway.
Yeah, so I've got a mechanical one.
Okay, good. That's awesome. But just going back to my thoughts here, I think expectations have come down. Also, expectations of tapering have gone down, and I think that's unsubstantiated. But look, I think keeping rates at zero are, I think, and I have thought just over the last several years prior to COVID, I thought it's ridiculous that our rates are basically zero bound. But the liquidity that we have put in, the extra liquidity and what the Fed and other central banks have done because of COVID, I think has been extraordinary. And I do think that will be tapered back no matter what. No one expects look, we got a Delta variant. My kid got COVID. I know I just talked to one of our doctor friends yesterday, and he works a COVID floor 2.5 to 3 weeks out of the month. And he lets people die. Like he's one of those guys. Right. And he said it's as bad, if not worse than 2020, when COVID first hit. And that's where I live, guys. And he's a dear friend of ours. Anyway, the reason why I bring this up is because we're not shutting down, and we're not going to shut down. So those emergency measures that were put in place was really to curb the initial shock of, holy crap, here's COVID. Will we get a mask mandate? Blah, blah, blah. What, maybe, I guess, but is it really going to change anything economically? Probably not. So the tapering.
There are less people getting on airplanes.
Yeah. Well, I don't necessarily.
Sad. I heard yesterday they're down.
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah, there might be some slowdown, but are we going into lockdowns?
No,
probably not. Right. And so I don't think that whatever we've got, all this excess liquidity, it's going to be tapered off no matter what. So I think expectations are really high that this is going to, this number is really going to affect the Fed. I really don't think it will. So the reason why I say that is if we get a number that is weak, let's say we get a number around 600,000 jobs, and let's even say that instead of unemployment dropping to 5.2%, let's say it comes in at 5.3%. Let's just say, and we create 500,000 jobs, 600,000 jobs, whatever it is. dollar should weaken, but I think it's going to be temporary. And that's why I have the euro up here, because I want to see the euro trade up to 119. I want to see it trade right up to these highs that we put in at the end of July, right? This is a 38% retracement, guys. Just, oh shoot, I didn't mean to do that. Hold on. There we go. Okay. This is a 38% retracement of the whole summer move, right? 161% extension of the last drop. It all comes in right at 118.96.
A lot of confluence, bro.
A lot of confluence there. And again, I think the market is really, really out of line right now with their, oh, you know, the number is going to be weak. We're going to push back tapering to 2022. Yeah, I don't believe that. I don't believe that for a minute. So I think the Fed is going to taper. Now, going back to like Steve's comments over this week, is the Fed ever going to raise rates? Probably not. And I bet Steve is probably spot on. We're going to be the next Bank of Japan. But you know, are we going to have this excess? You know, that doesn't really matter now. What matters now is tapering, right? And I don't think whatever number we get, as long as it's not a horrible number. I mean, you know, obviously if we lose jobs, like that's not going to happen, I don't think. But let's say that happened, then that's a different story. Then we have to start talking about, holy crap, you know, what happens now? But that's probably not going to be the case. You know, realistically, you know, jobs are going to be, we're going to create jobs, probably not as much as the market expects. Dollar's going to weaken. How far is it going to weaken? I'm hoping we see 119 in the euro dollar, and then I'm looking to trade it. Also, just want to mention, nice little setup in the dollar yen. I think this is going to, you know, this breakout's going to.
What was that word you used on Twitter, Blake, about the yen?
Fudgery.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yen's giving us a little fudgery going on. So, hey, Steve Stelios, good morning or good afternoon, guys. However you want to look at it.
You get away with making up words, Blake, you know.
Hey guys. Anyway. So anyway, I didn't want to take up all the time here. I know we got NFP coming up and we can all chime in once NFP happens, but any thoughts here? Let's start with you, Stel.
I kind of agree with you that unless the number is in a big way low or high. By the way, I went to the dentist a few hours ago and I'm still numb. So if I sound weird, that's why.
Are you drooling on yourself?
Yeah, I am. A little bit. But you know, I think that
he's getting a preview of his 80s.
These payroll numbers.
That's weird.
It happens earlier than that, Steve.
Let me.
All right, let him speak. Let him speak. Come on, we got limited time here.
I think that these payroll numbers are becoming more and more important in terms of the market reaction. So I do think that if we do get a weak number, the market is going to react quite. I think we're going to see the euro dollar, maybe 119.50 that you Blake, or was it Ryan who was talking about it? I think we could easily see that. But in the grand scheme of things, I agree with you, Blake. I think that the Fed is going to start tapering. But the question is, as always, to what extent and etc. So I think that these numbers becoming a little bit more important as we go on, because the Fed have told us that it's important, right? Even Neil Kashkari said the other day that if we get 2 or 3 good jobs numbers, then I would be in favor of tapering and then hiking and doing everything. Yeah, he did say that.
The super hawk.
The Uber dove, yes, exactly. So they're becoming more important. But I think the Fed is going to be on track to taper late this year, and but then obviously it's going to be data dependent in terms of the pace and all that. But
S&P dependent.
S&P dependent as always. Yes.
All right. Well, thanks, Stelios, for your ideas and stop slobbering. Steve,
go have a piece of candy now.
Yeah. any quick ideas or thoughts before we got just a few minutes before we need to start really preparing? So what's up?
I don't have anything to add. I really agree with you. I do believe that the Fed is going to go through with tapering. I think it's going to be very slow, but they're going to do it so they don't seem inactive, right? They don't seem like they're not reacting. Yeah. I don't think they're ever going to go through with the whole process. They'll start it as they started the rate hikes. I don't think they'll ever finish it. I think they'll have to go back to increasing quantitative easing before they can reduce it back to zero.
All right. Well, and the thing is as sad as it is, I think we are probably zero bound for quite some time. I just had somebody on
That was a
Trader
world
Summit.
record for Steve.
I just had somebody on Trader Summit. I did an interview with somebody who also felt that the Fed's going to keep rates at zero for, we haven't even seen. Oh, no. You know what it was? It was Luke Groman that you had on the other day. He thinks rates can go a lot lower. Right. And
negative 13 or 14 now,
wow.
real rates. And
we already have that. We already have that, by the way, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Inflation at 6. So that's how you come up
inflation
with
at 6, rates at 1. And we were talking about the reported inflation, right?
Yeah, that too.
If we wanted
Yeah. So, I remember I thought I was doing the interview, but you're right. It was actually Dale's doing that interview. He interviewed Luke Groman, who's awesome, by the way. And I'm a big fan. And so he was on earlier this week. Let's talk a little bit about bonds really fast. I mean, you can see yields. I mean, we're tightening up here. And I think that the market, here's on the 10-year and here's your 30-year, all consolidation. Obviously, we're at the last week of, I want to say August, but first week of September, just before everybody comes back. So of course everything's tightening a little bit, but it's going to be interesting to see if the bond market reacts following this data as well. One other thing I want you guys to look at is gold. Gold. This is going to tell us a lot what to do with the dollar, but I have to be perfectly frank here regarding gold. And if you guys are long, I am way surprised that gold has not broken higher above the 618 retracement, above this 1835. We are exactly the same spot we were, well, minus a couple of dollars, on Friday of last week. And we've seen a lot of dollar weakness come in this week. And how is it, I keep asking myself, how is it the gold's not up higher? And if you're long, you've got to be thinking the same thing, which, minus cash positions, but I'm not long gold. I'm not, from a trading point of view, I'm not long gold. Being long precious metals, the actual or physical is different than being long here. So gold and silver both have really not moved a lot. And one of the other things that I want to point out is Ethereum. I was long earlier this week on this breakout, so I bought Ethereum. I sold it at 36.50 right here. And I thought I was a superstar. Obviously, I'm not, because we hit 4,000 today, and Ethereum's got
looks
caught
like
a
John
bid.
Nettles' target of 7K by year end isn't as unrealistic anymore.
Well, I don't know. 7,000's a pretty big number. I would say
easily
personally.
doable.
I mean, it could. I guess we could, but I don't know. I think these cryptocurrencies are more trading vehicles. I think their bigger runs are finished for now. But I mean, you look at Bitcoin.
I hope
Bitcoin
you're right.
can't get out of its own way.
But anyway, looking at things go up that I missed. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, the woulda, shoulda, coulda. They always bite us.
Oh, you don't
right?
live there. That's right.
But we all have those thoughts. Hey, really quick, Ryan, I know you've been kind of quiet. Any last thoughts before we go in and on-farm payroll here?
He just wrote on the chat. Oh,
I'm just going to hop off because we're about a minute away. I need to get set for it. So
Blake,
we'll see you weekend, everyone. Trade safe.
Blake, I was going to say one thing about gold and silver. You can bet that if the number is good, they're going to be the ones that are going to be underperforming straight away. It's always the case that they get smacked.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
So, and what do you quantify as good? I mean, for me today, a good number is in line. I mean, 700. Anything over a 7.25.
7 handle and above, I think it's going to be treated as a good number. Yeah.
So this is by the way, this is data flash. You get it with Forex Analytics. I'm going to put it over to the side here as I pull up the charts. But then this is one of our tools that we use with Forex Analytics. It gives us the data. Sometimes it's fast, if not quicker than Bloomberg does. So which is nice. I'm going to keep it on the dollar yen. Although I will be flipping back and forth between the dollar yen and
flipper.
I'm going to be flip flopper between the dollar yen and the euro dollar. So
okay, 5 seconds.
oh, here we go. Boom, bad number. Oh, that's
Oh my God.
Holy cow.
Oh, well, look at the revision though. The
Wow.
revision is higher.
Okay, sorry, I missed
quite a
that.
bit, but still, it's not high enough.
So the euro should get to that 119. I don't know if I really want to be. I don't know if I really want to be short on that.
Participation rate unchanged, unemployment rate unchanged. So really, it's just the payrolls number.
But look,
average.
yeah, but look at the dollar yen. Just, I mean, we're probing, but we're not really breaking.
Yeah,
which I
average
find
hourly
very
earnings, by the way, 4.3% year on year, much better than expected. So that's offsetting it a little bit.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
preparing his 2023 tapering plan.
I just actually I had an order out. I just sold some euro at 119. I just looked. I'm like, ooh, well, yep. At one, it was 118.98 because I had it, just shy of that. So I'm already kind of I just canceled my second order, which is up at 119.10 because I don't want to be too overly exposed here. Because I do think we're going to get to this 119.10 level, but that is a weak number. But you know what's interesting? Stocks on that weak number, you notice how the S&P is actually going lower and the Dow is really going lower. And also the NASDAQ, even though it spiked up because of yields, the NASDAQ's coming off of its highs too. Is this a number where it's weak enough where people go, that's a really bad number? You know what I mean? I want to show you guys something else too. US dollar, Norwegian krona. I think we are close to completing a double top. No, not even close. Never mind. Not even close. Dollar Mexican peso completed its double top now, and we're heading right into key support here. The euro dollar is still inching its way up here. I'm not going to stick around too much longer. So I originally wanted to be short at 118.98 and then 119.10. So I'll give it a little bit, but that's a weak number. That is not
metals really flying compared to a week.
Oh yeah, gold finally moved. But look, gold's not even at 1835.
Really... I was going to say if the surprise was positive, this much, gold would have been down 2%. But anyway, it is what it is.
Look at the Kiwi dollar. The Kiwi dollar finally broke. I was mentioning on all week actually that the Kiwi is going to squeeze higher, and I tried shorting it yesterday. I tried shorting it, but I knew that there's a lot of people that are short the Kiwi, and the problem with the New Zealand dollar is, you got a lot of people short and now it's squeezing, and it had a false breakdown and it is just moving higher. We're almost at the 127% extension here. But, these commodity currencies could continue to rally. I mean, stocks, even though S&P was coming down a little bit, it's not really breaking down. Here's the euro at 119.07, right up against pretty key resistance here. But that number was weak. I do not trust the market down here. I do not trust stocks down here. I think stocks could stay at least bid because people are going to think that the Fed's going to chicken out on tapering, or tapering amount's going to be a lot lower. So what are your thoughts here, Steve, Stelios, following this data?
I find absolutely no reason, and nothing has changed with this data. It just enhances it to be long dollar in any shape or form. As simple as that.
Yeah. I mean, well, hey, you know what? On a scalping point of view, I am.
No. I'm not a scalper. You know that. My comment had nothing to do with intraday swings, right? Nothing to do with it.
You know what? I should have left that second order at 119.10 because it would have been triggered, or at least close to the high as far as 1909. So you can see that struggle. Just keep in mind. And, Steve, you talk about wouldn't want to be long the dollar. Let's just talk technicals for a second.
10-year yields are not selling off on that number at all.
Yeah, I mean, the dollar is actually bouncing back. I'm quite surprised.
I mean, you would think they take 5-10 bips out of the 10-year on a number like that.
Yeah. I mean, but look at the thing about the euro, and let me just talk about this for a second. Let's just say, and I'm obviously just imagining things at this moment. Obviously, when you hear my comment, but let's just say that
I want you to make my coffee next Friday.
Let's say the euro dollar hits the 38% retracement, and let's say it holds here. And let's say my analysis was right. I did short the euro 118.98, half of my size. So whatever. But let's say I end up being right. By the end of the day, let's say the euro drops down to 118.60. Let's just say. And let's say also in an imaginary world, stocks move lower. People look at that data and they go, man, that's some crappy data. The stock market starts getting sold. If that's the case, and the dollar starts to pick up some steam, the one thing I want to just point out is this is a 38% retracement. We did hit a new 2021 low, a new yearly low just a week and a half ago. So if the euro dollar holds this 38% retracement and we're making lower highs and lower lows, technically this is at risk. Oh, shit, I don't want this. Hold on, let me get rid of that. This is at risk of a longer term move lower. And so that's the thing that I think, and if you wonder, well, how can the euro dollar, really weaken like that? And how can the euro strengthen? I mean, you look at the ECB balance sheet, their balance sheet's huge. All right, hold on. I'm about ready to pull a little bit of my euro dollar short off. Hold on. I'm up 12 pips, 13. So anyway, the ECB balance sheet is also expanding. It's not just, the Fed. And the euro.
Blake, sorry to interrupt. The ECB's balance sheet is 570 billion. The European economy is more or less the size, let's say, of the US economy. And equivalently, the Fed has 8.5 trillion.
But the point I'm trying to make is the Fed is not the only game in town. And
it's not.
And they're not. And so people like to bash the dollar because they're like, well, the Fed and their balance sheet. But, there are other central banks that are providing a lot of liquidity right now. And I think the only reason why the ECB hasn't, done more is basically for political reasons. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But the point I'm trying to make is I think that the euro technically still is setting up for a continuation. If we can hold anywhere below the 50% retracement, which is that you see this big box right here. So that's one thing that I just want to point out. That if stocks, we can look at the NASDAQ's it's now lower than where we were post jobs report.
10-year up 3 bips now. 10-year up 2.5 bips on a weak number.
Yeah, I mean,
what a nice fade, man. Fades.
It is.
NASDAQ almost unchanged now. They don't like those tech stocks. I said Apple did not look. Facebook did not look like it had a smile on its chart yesterday.
NASDAQ's getting creamed. S&Ps are at the lows. Dollar is firming, guys.
Big inflection
about ready
point
to add
here
to my
in
euro.
S&Ps. Yeah.
Exposure.
You had a great
Stelios, let's hear some ideas, some thoughts. What are your comments?
Well, it's going to be with numbers like this, it's going to be hard for the Fed to, continue full throttle with their plan. They have excuses now if they want to tell us that the tapering is going to be either later or it's going to be at a smaller pace or whatever. So I think, the market is not actually reacting much to this number now. I mean, we're almost back to where we were before, but I don't think it should be ignored. This number, it's not a good number at all.
No, it's not a good number. What do you think about the reaction thus far?
If you had given me this number, I would have thought that would have moved a lot more. Yields lower, the dollar lower, and metals a lot higher, and they're not. So I think, it's weird.
Yeah, I think it's catching a lot of people wrong-footed, right? That's what Dale was just saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we see this reversal from the initial reaction go a little bit more as people get out. But in the long run, I mean, in the next few days,
In
or
the long run,
weeks,
we're all dead.
yeah, in the next few days or weeks, this is not a good number. It's definitely not.
Yeah. So look, I actually just added a little bit of the euro, and I just put my stop of my cost average right now is.
That was a great trade, man.
Thank you. It's 93, and I have my orders, my stop above today's highs. So I'm willing to ride the euro dollar a little bit lower. I mean, look, we're
well done, Blake.
Thank you. I didn't even look at the dollar yen, and look at this is exactly your yield trade in reverse, right?
Who coattailed Blake today?
I hope somebody
out
did.
there. Come on, I know you guys did. And
yeah,
I wish there's some guys out there that coattailed Blake, and now they have and they're going to join this weekend.
I hope so.
Yeah.
And but let's Rick's been with Rick. How long have you been listening to my broadcast? Just throw a number out there, because I met Rick in person twice in Dallas.
Oh wow, 18 years.
Yeah. So Rick has been listening to me for 18 years. 2003. He's one of the original when I started the Morning Edge. I started the Morning Edge broadcast in 2002. Actually,
that says a lot for both of you as far as staying power and as far as appreciating each other.
And by the way, Rick is in our chat room. He's been in our chat room, and he's a Euro Aussie slayer. So he's the guy that's all over the Euro Aussie. By the way, I think you got to look at the euro or the pound New Zealand at the 200-day moving average. I'm going to throw some oddballs at you guys today. The Euro New Zealand hit the 166. I had an alarm. I had a trigger. It said buy the euro dollar here that just went off this morning. And I bought it because I wanted to buy it at 166. This is huge support. I wanted to buy a false breakdown, which so far we've got. And that's a trade that's an order that I had in, and I'm up 10 pips or 18 pips. I'm not up a whole lot, not for this pair, because this pair moves quite aggressively, but I had that order sitting in there since like a week and a half ago. Anyway, just a couple of things that I think are important. And, watch the euro today. I think the euro's had an important failure. I think a move below like 118.50 by the end of the day, and especially if we close down there, is going to be ugly. Watch stocks. I think stocks they don't look good. I think everybody got the reaction that they didn't expect today regarding stocks and the dollar, and probably gold too. So I think we could probably say that for everything. Now the day is far from over yet. So that's the good news. If you're a stock market bull, the day is far from over.
That is very true.
By the end of the day, the S&P can be trading well above 45.50. So it's just
could change by the Morning Edge.
What's that?
It could change by the time you guys do the Morning Edge.
That's correct. And speaking of the Morning Edge, that starts in approximately 30 minutes from right now. I just want to say, who guessed that number? Ryan's going to have to go through the numbers. I told you I was way off. I said 678. I was way off. And I'm notoriously the worst non-farm payroll guesser.
I'm not taking you with me in the roulette next time.
You're just too optimistic.
I'm usually just really bad. So whatever I guess, if just for future knowledge, just guess a few 100,000 away from wherever my number is. And you're probably going to be close to right. So I have told people that from the beginning of time, that I am the worst non-farm payroll guesser in the world. But anyway, one of the other things, guys, if you haven't visited our Forex Analytics webinar sponsor for the FACE webinar, you can visit Pepperstone Securities, but really Forest Park FX. They're the ones that make sure this webinar happens free for you guys every single day. We've been partnered with them for years. If you want to learn how to get Forex Analytics for free or get possibly cashback rebates, can't do both. You have to open your account through here, and they give you a lot of different options of brokers you can work with. Justin, he's a ex SEC attorney turned businessman, and so he knows all the good firms to work with. He knows exactly what traders need to be looking for. He runs Forest Park FX. He's the CEO there. And then you want to connect with them live on Skype, or you can email them right here and ask them. They're like the concierge of the FX market. They'll basically say, hey, okay, what type of trader are you? Okay, this is probably what you're looking for. And visit them. And we appreciate it because they're the ones that make sure that this can happen. And also try out Forex Analytics. And hopefully one of you guys or gals won a free month of premium service of Forex Analytics. That would be awesome. And then we'll see you in the chat rooms. But Dale, I'm going to get ready for the morning edge. Steve, Stelios, I know Ryan already tore out of here. You guys, I'll see you soon. And Dale, I'm gonna pass it over to you or Steve if you want to have some last minute things as I get ready for
Blake,
the morning.
you were above expectations today. Great energy. You are, in my opinion, the best live room performer I've ever listened to.
Oh, well, thank you.
There you go.
well.
You got your Dale compliment.
No, he is, and
Thank
still so passionate about it. After all these years, and really, your energy flows out to people, and they feel it. So, really, you're the best, Blake, at doing.
All
this.
right, thank you, Dale. I appreciate that.
Right.
Hey, and I appreciate having you
I
here
was
every day.
pretty good, but you're better than me.
Thanks, Dale. That's a big compliment.
I'm
you guys have a great
retiring.
one. You guys got control of the charts. I'll see you on the morning edge. You guys have a great weekend. Great long weekend.
Yeah. Enjoy,
thank you for
Blake.
all your efforts.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Hello, Steve.
Dale, anything else you want to add?
Not really. I mean, if you didn't react on that fade, yeah, I'm sure there's be other things to do, but I think we had a pretty good week of interviews. We got to speak to what's his name, Nordvik and Luke, and yesterday Travis was very good from Real Vision. So hope you guys are enjoying the interviews as well. I tell you, it helps my trading to talk to these people and then bounce my narratives off them to get their counterpoints. And I miss doing that with you, Steve, but the times, they are changing. They're always changing, aren't they? So
very true.
Just besides the tagline, I think today was a great example, and Blake did it live, where you even had some live ideas you could have acted on that could have paid for a year subscription. So my hope is that some of the people here still listening that haven't made that move, it will be good for you to go out and if you're used to trying to get everything for free, pay for something. And I'm telling you, it'll change your paradigm, might even change your life to also be a giver. So that's about all I have to say, is that really great work by the whole team. We laid out on the court all week, and you guys have to admit that it's a hardworking, talented crew. Not just hardworking, but talented. So great week of hanging out with you guys. That's how I'll wrap it.
Same here, Dale.
Okay, so that's it, guys. I mean, enjoy your weekend. Stay safe. It's still, people. I noticed on CNBC, people were just beginning to come back into the studio to do interviews, and now everyone's working remotely again. So I know it's really, and then they'll turn on a football game and you'll see crowds of people without masks on. So it's a very confusing time.
Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. See you on the morning edge.
Yeah, Stel, go take a nap and till the Novocaine wears off. And Steve, thanks for helping me as much as you do all the time. And that's
Thank you,
it.
Dale.
All right, guys.
Bye-bye.
Good luck the rest of the day. Adios.